Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. It is episode 115 today, where we're going to be discussing the Premier League title race, the conclusion of it, and of course Arsenal bottling the league. I'm sure we've already had all the Arsenal fans click off there as I say bottle, but I think we'll start with Arsenal because they are the more interesting topic. Where did it all go wrong this season for Arsenal? What was the first problem, and then we'll go more into depth.
When did it first started to kick in after the World Cup, and they lost to Man City the first time?
In fact, it's probably better to caveat this with what went so well. Arsenal had for the first half of the season, Arsenal had such a clear structure, clear system. There was a good feel about the club. It seemed the dressing room atmosphere was excellent. There was this mentality amongst the players that they could go and challenge the big dogs this year.
Yeah,
and I think that was really useful for them.
It was, and that first half season, that core 11 was just so good. They looked formidable.
Yeah. However,
but the problem is, you can't have that 1-11 never changed throughout the whole of this season.
Well, obviously, it rotated and they added more rotation options in January, but I would say one of their problems was a lack of quality rotation, but also a little bit of mismanagement from Arteta. Now, why I say that is that I don't think players like Reece Nelson or Emile Smith-Rowe were included anywhere near as much as they should have been this year. I think Saka and Martinelli have been relied upon too heavily. Same for Martin Odegaard. They've not used Fabio Vieira enough either. And then obviously up front, Nketiah was only given any minutes because Jesus got injured. And then the only place they've really rotated is the midfield.
Yeah. And you cannot afford to stick. I think when that kind of main 11 was fit, they all played. No doubt about it. And that's kind of the problem, is that in the first half of the season, that same 11 players played every single game. Then they had the World Cup, and then they had to come straight back and start battling for a Premier League, and eventually they burnt out.
Yeah, I think also key players struggling after the World Cup. I think Saliba was a big one. Obviously, he is injured now, and that's been a big miss for Arsenal, but he really struggled post-World Cup. I think the errors they were making in the first half of the season were a lot less, but also their reliance on Aaron Ramsdale was only shown in the second half of the season. They performed well below. So they performed well above expectations in the first half of the season and well above their expected performance. If you look at a lot of their XG and expected goals against as well, XGA, then you can actually see that, Aaron Ramsdale was keeping them in it for the first half of the season. The defence did allow a lot of shots. Then eventually he started making a few errors in the turn of the year, and that cultivated Arsenal dropping a few points.
I mean, it's never, you can't rely on, this season, I think that, as you say, they heavily relied on Ramsdale, and they heavily relied on that, the Martinelli, Saka and Odegaard.
Yeah.
Because if one of those four didn't do anything, they'd drop points.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think we should probably look at their form of late, because it is almost like they've just run out of steam. We see this spoken about, every single season. Oh, that team ran out of steam, but never have we seen such a literal demonstration of it, because we've seen Arsenal just literally fall off in recent weeks.
They all hit 0%, at the same time. Yeah. And I think that's the problem, because it wasn't. Usually, you can see one or two players towards the end of the season, they tail off, they get worn out, they get tired because they've had they've played every game. But because there was quite literally no rotation in this Arsenal 11, the whole 11 burnt out at the same time, and then they lost, dropped major points.
Yeah, so if we look at their last 8 matches, just 2 victories, a 3-1 over Chelsea at home and a 2-0 win at Newcastle away. They've lost their last 2 matches as well to Brighton and Forest. They lost to City, obviously, in that time, and then draws with Liverpool, West Ham and Southampton. I think Southampton and West Ham were the draws that hit hardest for me, because I think that was when because if you look at the last 5 games, they've played some very difficult opponents in the likes of Brighton and Newcastle. They won the Newcastle game, and of course Manchester City, but I think those draws against relegation sides were the reason they're in the position they're in now.
That came the back off after they threw away a 2-goal lead at Anfield against Liverpool, and they drew 2-2.
But that's excusable. They're a good side.
That's what surprises me, is that we saw such a great buzz and feeling around the Arsenal team. So I was surprised when they drew that game. I thought they'd bounce back with a response and they'd beat West Ham, They did the opposite. They played exactly the same way, and this time they went 2-0 down and had to get it. They went 1-0
against
down.
West Ham. No, they went 2-0 up against West Ham and then threw it away. A Ben Roll penalty in the 33rd minute, a Bowen goal in the 54th, as they threw away an early 2-goal lead. They scored 2 in the first 10 minutes. And yet they threw that game away.
Is that complacency? Because that's 2 games in a row there where they were 2-0 up and then just threw it away.
Potentially, but also West Ham needed points. That was a game where West Ham had to throw everything at it. They were already 2-0 down, so they could tactically go for the game. Because if they lose by more, they lose by more, but they needed the points, and that point could be crucial. I mean, West Ham now safe from relegation.
And then, 2 draws in a row, they would have felt the pressure from City. That transpired in the Southampton game. They were 2-0 down, and then 3-1 down, and they managed to nick it a point.
Oh yeah, 88 and 90th minute goals. Of course, Carlos Alcaraz, that was a direct consequence of an Aaron Ramsdale error. Yeah, a good finish though from the young lad. And then obviously Theo Walcott in the 14th.
That's a killer blow, isn't it?
Former player, of course. And then Duje Kaletikar, 66th minute. Well, Martinelli did make it 2-1, and then obviously 3-1 through Kaletikar, and then Odegaard and Saka later on.
And at this point, they would have looked at the game up against City and gone, we have to win this, we want to win a title. And not only did they just lose, they were absolutely battered.
I think both games against City this season have demonstrated why Arsenal aren't ready for the title fight. And I think simply put, they are not tactically as good as Manchester City. Their team is not as good as Manchester City's. Quite frankly, I don't think Arteta's able to build a tactic as good as Pep is. But that's not really a slight on Arteta. I think nobody is able to build a tactic as good as Pep is. So, as much as we can look at Arteta and say, well, can he ever beat Pep? I know that was a question you posed the other week. Yeah. Can Arteta ever beat Pep? Can anyone ever beat Pep? Because in his 14 years of professional management, he's won 11 titles. So
do you know what? I don't think those 3 managers in those 3 years that beat him.
Exactly that. But one of those, mate, Claudio Ranieri.
What a manager.
That was his first season, right? 15-16, I think. Might be wrong.
He's done 6 years. 6 years?
If,
7 years?
If not, it was the year after. Actually, it might have been the year after that one that he joined, in which case it was Antonio Conte's Chelsea team.
Obviously.
But yeah.
I just think for Arsenal, it did surprise me the way they reacted to that Liverpool draw, because I thought a team that was so full of energy. But I remember seeing Zinchenko's reaction on the bench, and I think he knew, because he's won titles with City, he knew what it took. I think as soon as he saw that they'd drawn to Liverpool, I think at that point he kind of knew they'd thrown it away.
Yeah. And
obviously that would play because he's a team leader. this is outrageous with the way. I can't remember who said it, but someone said, it was someone who everyone will know.
Is it Roy Keane?
No, they said that Zinchenko deserves a statue for this season.
Oh, right. I thought you were talking about when, was it Roy Keane or Graham Souness kicked off because he was signing signatures or autographs for a game? And he was saying they were celebrating massively like a win against Bournemouth, and he was saying that that's why they won't win the title, because they're too emotional. That sounds like a Roy Keane thing to say, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was now, but that was mental. But yeah, no, he was a good leader, but when you see your leader react like that, you're going to drop your head. And it just, inexperience this season cost him.
I think, though, also having a leader who is as emotional as Zinchenko, I think he's a magnificent player. I think it's really useful to have a player in the dressing room that cares like he does. But he is too emotional to be a leader. And often, I think he undermines the captain's authority. Obviously, Martin Odegaard, not the most outspoken captain in the Premier League, but I think he is still a firm leader in that dressing room. However, when you've got Zinchenko, who's almost assumed the role of leader as the most experienced player.
With being a leader or the captain, there's a certain balance you have to have between showing that you care, because you have to show your players that you care, but in terms of caring too much. And the way he reacted sometimes, maybe he did care too much, and maybe that's probably...
I don't think care too much is such a thing. I think more he was too emotional. Caring too much, I don't think you can care too much. I think you have to care. And that's what the other players want to see. I think that's what the fans would want to see. But I think often he is over emotional. I know that some Arsenal fans have been annoyed by him this season, which I find a little bit strange, because I think he's played really, really well. But at times he has been caught out defensively, and I can understand the point of view that maybe he's not a great left back. But equally, in the system they play, that's not his role. He isn't a left back.
He's a pet. The thing with me is, Zinchenko is a left. Zinchenko himself is a centre midfielder.
Yeah, go on.
He's a centre midfielder, Pep Zinchenko is a left back. That doesn't mean Zinchenko's a left back. That means when he plays in a City system, he's a left back. Because that's how City do. Pep Guardiola, he takes players and he plays them wherever he wants, and he makes them learn that position.
Yeah, he means worked with players like John Stones this season, Rico Lewis as well, who I think we'll touch on later.
My other point was going to be, and this links the fact of inexperience and lack of quality rotation, and the big one for me is at centre half. Don't get me wrong. Rob Holding. Don't get me wrong. They looked in January and they saw that they've got 2 good centre halves, but Rob Holding's a backup isn't good enough. They brought in Kyrgios, and also I get it, they're building for the future. And I get that. That makes sense to bring in Kyrgios. He's got very good potential. But for a season where you were leading the title, and did you really think he was? That's a good option as your backup centre half? Because Saliba's got injured. They played Kyrgios, and he struggled.
Who would you have played? Who would you have bought?
I'd have gone experience. I don't know who.
But do you really want to bring in someone who's going to be? Do you want to bring in another leader into that?
Not a leader, but someone who knows what it takes to win the Premier League title.
Well, how many of those? There's not many centre halves who know what it takes to win the Premier League title. Kicking about, it's just like Tony Adams isn't coming out of retirement anytime soon. So it is difficult. It is more difficult than go and get someone.
I know, but there's got to be.
But also, they did bring in players like that. They brought in Gabriel Jesus. They brought in Vinicius Zinchenko, and they didn't necessarily work.
Yeah, start of the season, I guess. I'm not thinking like January, because they looked at the squad and gone, we have this very good 11.
Yeah.
But we need to be aware if it's going to break down and not work.
But then the same question: what
you're right.
What other centre half do you look at?
But not even centre half. They have the quality rotation. They should have played Emma Smith-Rowe more. Should have played Reece Nelson more. Fantastic players.
Yeah, I was surprised he didn't get more minutes. I also think it was weird to keep Nketiah and loan out Balogun. But I guess they wanted to give Balogun more minutes maybe than they were going to give Nketiah.
Yeah.
But
I just think, yes, don't get me wrong, Martinelli, Saka, 2 very, very good players, 2 of the very best players in the Premier League. But they aren't going to be very good if they play 40, 45 games a season.
I still think they pushed at the end, but yeah, if they were given, I think they were giving more rest, they definitely could have been more effective towards the end of the year. Because we have sort of seen in recent weeks that Saka and Martinelli's performances have dropped off.
They have, and I mean, yes, they've been good, but then also, I look back and fall on. They brought in Jorginho, who he knows what he's a born winner. He's won the Euros, won the Champions League now. He knows what it takes to win things, but he was more of a leader role. He started a lot since he joined.
What, Jorginho?
Yeah, and
but that's exactly what you were saying earlier about them needing to sign players who've won the Premier League. He's not won the Premier League, but he is a Euro winner, a Champions League winner.
And I like that, but I don't think he should have played. I think he should have been more of a leader figure, because he hasn't been very good. We know Jorginho.
Has he not?
No. Well, I think they've just lacked anything. I think
he's done too badly.
Xhaka, Jorginho and Partey. Xhaka, Jorginho and... I think Thomas Partey was doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's a few question marks around him, but... Jorginho, I don't know. I just think...
I still think they needed to rotate Partey, though, in that role.
Yeah, I just feel for Arsenal this year... Rotation. I think there were just a few little problems that towards the end of the season they all kind of combined to make one big problem and they threw it away. And I kind of agree with and this will take us on, but I kind of agree with what Gary Neville said, and he said the only team he can see stopping Pep City is Klopp's Liverpool.
Right now, but I think potentially long term I could see Ten Hag's United, if he can get that working tactically, but there are definitely some deficiencies in his team, which I think need to be ironed out, but I definitely think over the long term he could challenge.
And the reason those two teams I think stand out is because you look at Arsenal this season, they were played off the park when they played City both times. Liverpool always beat City.
Or gave him a good game. Look at the game where Stones had to drag the ball from the depths to keep City in it.
And the year Liverpool won the league, they won that because they beat City at the Etihad.
Yeah, Alisson certainly wasn't just passing the ball out to...
no.
See striker.
And even this season, Liverpool have had a terrible season. They still beat City. Yeah. They beat them once. And United they also beat City this year, which shows they weren't unstoppable this season.
I think Klopp's Liverpool and Pep's City will both go down as 2 of the greatest Premier League sides of all time. And I think we're just blessed that we get to see 2. I think arguably the City team I'm watching right now is the best team I've ever watched. Best football team of all time.
And the reason because I think people at home will think, Klopp's Liverpool, what are they going to... the thing is, why do they go?
What they think? Are they cavemen, Harry?
Why do they go? Why do they go down in history? Because if you look on the outside, it doesn't make much sense. They haven't won too much in terms of Premier League. But the only reason
they did win Liverpool's first Premier League title.
Yeah, no. But the only reason they haven't won more titles is because of Pep City. The amount of times they've pushed City to the wire. Last season, it went down to the final game. The fact that Arsenal, by the way, were 8 points clear and they haven't even taken it to the final day is...
Because I resonate with what you're saying there. I think I would make the argument that if Pep City weren't there, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool would be as dominant as like Sir Alex's sides were.
Because realistically, who else touched City and Liverpool?
Well, exactly. If you look back through the last few years, they were all like... there was one season they finished on, 98 and 99? 97, 98, something like that. And then the next team's on like 80 or 70. It's like nowhere near.
They've won, between the two of them, they've won the last 6 Premier League titles, and I know that sounds quite competitive, but City have won 5 and Liverpool won 1.
Yeah.
But those 5, apart from this year, Liverpool pushed them all the way.
I think there hasn't been a season where Liverpool have been 7 points off with a game to go.
Yeah. I think next year could be big, because I think there'll be some sides with a point to prove.
Luton?
I think.
Wow, you don't think they'll be in the Prem? Disgraceful.
I think United on their day can challenge City. I think Liverpool, back to their best, can challenge City. I think if Arsenal recruit well and have a decent summer, and Arteta learns how to rotate his squad, they can push.
I've seen this question sort of doing the rounds recently, and actually we'll integrate it now because it was something that was asked by a contributor. So this is part of the audience questions. Well, we usually say this for the audience questions segment, but since it suits here, I think we'll throw it in. Caden Holloman asked, is Arsenal's performance in 2022-23 sustainable, or is this season a one-off? And I want to tie that into my own question of sorts, in that is next season for Arsenal, could they end up outside the Champions League spots? Because I think, as you say, City, Liverpool, United all going to be up there. If Newcastle are also looking good next year and Chelsea recover somewhat, then that's already looking very difficult for Arsenal to get up into Champions League again. So are they going to be able to maintain this level of performance going into next season and challenge with those big dogs, or are they going to suffer a minor drop-off?
I would say more to the drop-off, and because the problem is, they're going to have to... They need to be able to match what the other teams will bring, because we know...
Obviously, right, recruitment can be it. But let's take the squads from right now, and then maybe and then we can obviously discuss what happens if they improve. But right now, if nobody makes a signing, where do Arsenal finish in the Premier League next season?
I think they could be out of Champions League, yeah. Because I think City, obviously, will be right up there. United are strong. Liverpool are, obviously not this season, but they are strong. Chelsea have a good squad. Even Brighton, Villa, they're Newcastle. I think they all challenge Arsenal on their day, and that's the difference. Is you look at if Arsenal played Brighton or Aston Villa, you'd look at it and go, that's a tough game for Arsenal. When City play one of those teams, it's usually an easy win.
So if we look at Man City's record this season, I can't remember how they got on against Brighton, but I'm going to have a look now.
Arsenal got torn apart by Brighton, who got torn apart by Newcastle and Everton. So
City, when did they play Brighton? They beat them 3-1 in October. That would have been, what?
And they're playing Brighton next week.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight, tonight when this goes out.
I'm going to look like an idiot
if Brighton steamroll them 9-0, this podcast is going to age like milk.
They're on the beers a bit, and then probably. But City are just mental. We should probably touch on them, because we're spoken how Arsenal did throw it away, but they had to throw it away to someone, and to be 8 points behind, no matter how bad the team ahead of you play, to be 8 points behind and get it back.
And be in a place where they could be 10 points ahead, even if Arsenal win if they both win every remaining game, they'll be 10 points ahead.
Crazy.
That you've repeated crazy 3 times.
It is just absolutely mental, and they did struggle in the middle, while this new tactic that Pep just magicked up,
conjured up.
He genuinely just came up with it one day, probably while he's in his bed.
Shower thoughts. That's what I'm telling you. I reckon he had a cold shower, a bit of mental clarity, and he went 3-2-4-1.
He's got a tactics board in his shower.
Or he was looking at a phone number, and it said 3241, and he was trying to remember. He was memorising this phone number because he had to call someone, and then that was just stuck in his head. He thought, "Hang on, 3-2-4-1.
And yes, that system did take a little getting used to, but once it clicked, wow.
There's no stopping
the
them.
football it creates is just perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It is just watching the way City knock the ball about is just sublime.
I think you make a strong argument they're the best football team I've ever seen. Because I think they combine so perfectly. It's like this, you know how we get like food fusions where they mix different cultures. You've got the sensational Barcelona side of the 2011 with the tiki-taka passing, this lovely possession style of play, combined with the English physicality.
Yeah.
You know, we've got players like Harden and Grealish, that strength, that power. I just think they take all great elements of football, combine it into this perfect team, and quite frankly, is there anyone that could stop them right now? Probably not. Real got steamrolled, Arsenal got steamrolled. They're the two closest to them right now on form. They've beaten everyone in their path this season. They're on track for their first treble, historic treble. They've won the domestic league 3 times, 3 consecutive years now.
I think in terms of obviously success and what they've won, they probably aren't the best team we've ever seen. I mean, obviously I know they've won a lot, but compared to some teams that have won a lot. I mean, they haven't won 14 Champions Leagues, they haven't won a single one yet.
No, but
in terms of
whenever we say Real Madrid, they've won 14 Champions League, in 70 years. Manchester City, not 70 years, sorry, more than that.
Yeah, but City were rubbish until Shane Mansur turned up.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not going to... Exactly, so in 10 years they've not won one yet, but if they win one now...
I don't know. I don't think they'll ever get anywhere near Real's total of 14.
It depends how long Guardiola stays, doesn't it?
And that is, I think that is actually a good question. And City have been brilliant this year. They've managed everything. But if Pep leaves, does it go a little bit down the toilet?
Depends if they can get Nagelsmann or not.
Yes, but my thing is, and we talk about this a lot, when players get sold by Manchester City, they usually struggle, and we say they only work in a Pep system.
Yeah.
Is the squad built to Pep Guardiola? Which it is, obviously.
Yes, but City have...
But the question is, will those players be able to adapt to a new manager very quickly?
Potentially not, but City have the resource to be able to build around a new manager. It's not going to be like, you're stuck with this. Sell them, Harry. They're some of the most sought after players in the world.
Nagelsmann are they going to really be happy if Nagelsmann comes in and goes, I don't want Kevin De Bruyne?
I don't think Julian Nagelsmann's going to want to get rid of Kevin De Bruyne. I also don't think Pep's going to leave in the near future.
Does he want the quintuple?
I think probably...
The sextuple, sorry.
What motivation is there for Guardiola to leave right now?
True.
Because he can sit at City and build a side that can win everything. Because if you look, they're on a 24-game unbeaten run, right?
Yeah.
Since his tactics clicked. Is there a chance they go invincible next season? Because I genuinely could see a chance of them going invincible next season, winning the Champions League, winning the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, winning the Super Cup, if they're in that as well, and doing the quintuple.
So you got even more.
They can't do the sextuple because the Club World Cup isn't until 2025.
Community Shield.
They won over fuck how's a Community Shield as a major trophy.
It's a trophy?
It's like going, we won a big plate, well done.
It's a trophy, it counts.
Hold it up, Pep, good job, mate.
It counts towards a sextuple.
That's it?
Yes, it's a trophy.
It's a plate, it's not a
plate. But it's a shield.
Okay. Maybe they could do the sextuple then.
But yeah, no,
imagine they win all that but lose the fucking Community Shield to themselves, because they're going to win the FA Cup.
I know, obviously everyone's talking about all the treble, what was brilliant. I feel like people are already talking like they've won the treble. They haven't. Inter will not be an easy game. Now, I might sound like an idiot, but it will not be an easy game.
Generally, I get that.
Yes, City are very good. But it's a Champions League final. No Champions League final is ever easy.
I think we're going to do an in-depth podcast, aren't we, for that?
I know.
Because we've discussed, obviously we're at our predictions, so I think that Friday before the Champions League final would be
FA Cup as well. That is not easy. United will challenge them. United have been to Wembley this year, already won a domestic trophy. They want another one.
They've also played City twice and lost on aggregate 8-4.
But they won a game.
They did lose 6-3.
Yeah, but that was when United were in the shitter.
So let's look at United's form heading into that match again.
They're flying.
Were they?
That's what they are flying now.
Oh. No, I think they were at the time.
No, they weren't.
So they'd just come off the back of a loss to Sociedad in the Europa League. It's a bit weird. But win, 5 consecutive wins in the league, including wins over Arsenal and Liverpool.
Where are you getting 5 from?
4, sorry, after these Europa League games.
Oh, I don't know. City aren't that good though.
I mean, Foden scored a hat-trick, Haaland scored a hat-trick, they beat their rivals 6-3.
They'll give you a challenge.
They've scored 88 points this season. They could end up on 94.
Do you see a world where Inter win?
Yeah.
Do you see a world where United win?
No, but obviously I do. But
there you go, see?
If it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Like, yes, they're good, but obviously everyone's talking about how brilliant they've been. But what if they only win the Premier League?
You know, I'd lost to West Ham a couple
Is that an underachievement? If
yeah,
they only win
but
the
they
Premier
won't.
League? How do you know that?
Because it's Man City.
And? You
They're
never
inevitable.
know.
No, you don't never know, but you don't know what's going on. There'll be negatives of sending me, but it's quite likely Manchester City are going to win everything this year. It's quite likely they're going to win everything next year, unless Pochettino's cooking up a monstrosity with Chelsea.
No. They've shown they can lose. They lost to Southampton for Pete's sake.
Yeah, not since this system started working. There's only one man that can beat him, and that's Nathan Jones. So do not. Right, he's not employed by anyone right now, and he won't be because of stage shit.
They're beatable.
So don't just worry.
They are beatable.
As long as Nathan Jones doesn't get
Chelsea
employed.
gave them a good. Oh, that was a B side.
Chelsea did give Man City's second
side.
team a bit of a game. Still lost, but they did give them a bit of a game.
Where would Man City be? Would the B side? Where would their B side? Would their B side be second to the Premier League?
No.
Where would their B side be?
I think they get Europe. But if we say Pep is managing them,
yeah,
then they can definitely challenge. Obviously, it's hard. This situation is mental because they've not got any squad depth. But yeah, but I think if it's someone other than Guardiola, then they'd struggle because it's not the Guardiola system. I think they would probably finish around 10th.
I think what we're realising is Pep Guardiola is just like. I mean, he's not quite a special one, but
we're not only just realising, by the way, Guardiola is the best manager of all time, in my opinion.
Oh, I still have my different categories.
Well, yeah, because obviously you can't really compare like
For dominance, it's Pep. For prolonged success, it's Fergie, and for just being brilliant, Jose Mourinho.
Right, seems like your categories might be a bit shit.
No, not for being brilliant, but just what Mourinho's done. He's miracles. He's a miracle worker.
He's not. I mean, that's not his job title.
It should be.
Jesus.
Look what he did at Porto. Look what he did at Inter.
Yeah, he's an overachiever.
Yeah,
because he cultivates such a fantastic
he's just so
mentality and atmosphere in a dressing room.
I mean,
look at what he's done with Roma.
He is the world's great. He's the world's best manager of all time. If he wins the Europa League with Roma,
do you reckon he can win the Champions League next year?
Yes.
Imagine if he
any
pulls that off.
team managed by Sergio Mourinho, Jose Mourinho, can win the Champions League. If he's in the Champions League managing a team, they can win it. Doesn't matter who it is. Could be LASK.
I mean, did you see them play against Bayer Leverkusen? They had one shot in that second leg. One. And they just sat everyone behind the ball.
He's quality.
Got the job done.
He's absolutely quality. And he's really clicked at Roma. The referees might hate him and keep sending him off.
It's quality. Him in Italy just works because he understands. Yeah, exactly. He understands the passion that the fans
and he can speak the language.
have. Yeah, that's quite useful, to be fair. He can speak the language. Good job. But yeah, I think he is one of the best managers of all time. So
what we've produced is Arsenal are bottom jobs, City are ridiculous, Pep is quality, and Jose Mourinho is brilliant.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Should we talk about the relegation fight before we get onto a bit more of a serious topic? But first, let's laugh at West Ham. Not West Ham, Leeds, Leicester, Everton, those sorts of teams.
Who we relegated? Easy for me.
Ooh,
it's the bottom three now. It's the bottom three now, no doubt about it.
Why did you just turn into like a 50-year-old governor? No doubt about it.
I mean, obviously Southampton are already down, so that's a given.
Yeah, geezer.
Leicester, unless they... I mean, obviously we haven't seen their game against Newcastle yet, but unless they manage to conjure something up, they're down.
Conjure.
And Leeds genuinely looked horrific against West Ham.
This is why it's difficult to do because obviously we haven't seen the Leicester Newcastle game. So this
our
opinions could
Even
be...
if they win, they're down.
They'd be ahead of Everton.
On what
Goal
basis?
difference.
Oh, Everton will do well though.
On what basis?
Everton will still pick up points this season.
I think Leicester are more likely to beat West Ham than Everton are to beat Bournemouth.
Right, okay. What would you do is... So Leeds are doomed.
But it's Tottenham, mate.
Oh, I don't care if it's Tottenham.
Have you ever seen Tottenham on a final day of the season? They just become... I mean, they've not been great recently anyway. They've lost... I mean...
Oh my God.
They've lost...
Sorry.
5 of their last 7.
How has Ryan Mason still got a job?
Because they've just sacked one
lost to Bournemouth, lost to Newcastle, drawn to United, lost to Liverpool. They beat Palace. I don't know how they did that.
Well, it wasn't exactly the most exciting game.
0.88.
It's a 0.36. No one created anything.
Well, Tottenham can't go down this year. They'll go down next year.
Says a lot when Fraser Forster gets booked for time wasting when you're at home to Palace in the 91st minute.
They lost to Villa and lost to Brentford after going 1-0 up.
If there's any team that's going to throw that away, it's Tottenham.
No.
It's Tottenham. Last season, right? And last game of last season. What would that be? Alright, fine, they beat Norwich 5-0.
Yeah, but I could beat Norwich 5-0.
Exactly my point. Thanks for backing it up. Season before, alright, they beat Leicester. My point has been disproven. I'm just going to scroll back until they lost to Newcastle and then seem like a genius. Oh, there we go. March 2020. No, that's the wrong day. March, as if they finished the season in March.
Yeah, no. I think it'll be Southampton, Leeds, Leicester.
They drew with Palace in July 2020. That was the season being paused through me there.
July?
What else is there? How long ago did they lose?
I forgot we had that really weird year. We finished in July.
You forgot COVID happened.
No, I forgot what happened.
You on about?
I forgot what happened to the Premier League.
Right. Oh, they won against Leicester. How do they keep winning? They won 5-4. What a game.
That year Leicester won late? No,
that's 2018, right? When did Newcastle draw 4-4 with Tottenham? That's what I want to know.
Just Google
2015? That's a lost cause.
Yeah, let's...
Oh, 5-1. There we go. 2016.
They lost 5-1 to Tottenham.
Chancellor Mbemba got man of the match.
Of course. What a legend. But you know, I think it's pretty nailed on for me. Everton looks safe. They look pretty decent at the moment. West Ham are clear. And...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no. Say it.
Dar Janmat scored a goal and got an assist as well. Jorginho Wijnaldum double. A Mitrovic goal, assist and red card. That is the most Mitrovic performance ever.
Wijnaldum played for them.
Sissoko assist.
Townsend. I do not remember any of these that playing for them.
And then from the bench, Rolando Aarons scored, who's now at Motherwell on loan.
Oh. Oh dear.
From Huddersfield. So
oh dear.
Neither of that is great.
Yeah,
anyway.
No, I think it's nailed on for me.
What?
Leeds, Leicester.
Yeah, I think that's what... I don't want to see Everton go down as much as I want to see Leeds and Leicester go down. I don't really care about Leicester. Leeds,
I don't
like.
Leicester, but I like Dean Swift, John Terry and Craig Shakespeare.
But I want Yuri Tielemans. He's leaving anyway.
I want to see James Maddison at Newcastle.
I want to see Danny Ward at Man City, because that would make it fairer to everyone else.
It would. They should do that.
What? Make Danny Ward Man City's goalkeeper?
Make City play rubbish players.
Give Ederson to Luton. Don't do that. He's going to hate it.
He'd stick out like a sore thumb.
Would he? Why?
Blue hair.
I don't think that's going to be a permanent inclusion. Permanent.
Yeah, no.
What's it? I don't know what the word is.
Part of him.
Yeah, that's the correct term.
I don't see... I'm glad it's gone down to the final day, though. That makes it interesting.
What, the relegation fight, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's going to be... I still think it's nailed
on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Could be any of them, really, couldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, on to that serious topic then, which I don't think anything can sound really serious, and I've got a cold because I sound like Kermit the Frog. But we do need to talk about the Vinicius situation in the league, because I think it's really important that we do. As this a lot more formal topic than we usually discuss. We usually just laughing at Southampton, but I think it is important that we give our thoughts on this, because it's something that I've not seen covered much in English press and English media, so I think it's important we discuss it.
I'll be honest, we slate him a lot, but I'm going to shout him out here. The only person I've seen talk about it is Rio Bloody Ferdinand.
Yeah, but he's constantly talking, so that doesn't surprise me. But yeah, it is important, obviously, and I think, I did see him.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Brilliant what he wrote. And the BBC obviously cottoned on because they thought that Rio Ferdinand did it, and then they quickly shut up because BBC don't like to talk about things like that.
But yeah, obviously, if you haven't seen this whole situation, in a game between Real Madrid and Valencia, right?
Yeah.
the Valencia fans were racially abusing Vinicius Jr. during the match. He responded by pointing out the fans that were doing the racist abuse, to which the referee seemingly offered no solution. Yeah. Anyway, Vinicius and the Valencia players start to have a bit of a argument, raise voices, that sort of stuff. It becomes a bit of a fight between both sets of players, in which Vinicius is headlocked at one point, but then reacts to that and hits someone. Now, Vinicius, his headlock was not shown on VAR, and obviously didn't. VAR cocked it up massively. Then we'll talk about the referee's mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes in this situation, but they did catch him retaliating. Therefore, he was shown a red card, and that is why we've seen this such an interesting story develop over the last few days. But just our general thoughts then. Obviously, there is a massive problem with La Liga and racism.
Oh yeah,
we've seen it now way too many times this season where Vinicius has been racially abused, and I think that is a massive issue, of course.
Yeah,
that goes without saying.
I just don't know how La Liga still get away with this. I mean, I can, because there's no one who's going to stop them. Yeah. Who can say anything to La Liga to get no one can ban La Liga because they're not a thing. Yeah. But it's just ridiculous, really. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Yeah,
I think also I've just said that Pele has actually, Pele's account has made a statement. Obviously, Pele couldn't from the grave, but his account says Pele always admired Vinicius for his joy and talent, and the opportunities they had to talk. The king loved the affection and respect they had for each other. On this day, we're absolutely certain that Edson would be asking us to write this, so we'll do it. And then says the Pele Foundation supports and admires you for your courage. Keep being a vocal advocate and never stop smiling in the face of adversity. Racism no longer has a place in the sport we love so much. I think that summarises exactly our thoughts. He is such a magical player. He doesn't deserve this sort of abuse. I don't like the argument that he brings it on himself by acting like he does. That is the worst genuinely statement. We see it's the type of thing you see bound around football Twitter. Classic English pub blokes opinion.
People say "toy at your ass." That's just talking absolute nonsense.
That's victim blaming 101. Yeah. No one deserves racism. I was trying to find Tebas.
Everyone's a footballer. Just let him play football. Don't matter who he is. He's a very good player at that as well.
All right. Well, this is what Tebas said then, because this is what caused further uproar. He said, since those who should not explain to you what it is, well, this is translated, so it's going to be difficult to read in English, and what it could do, Liga, in cases of racism, we've tried to explain it to you, but you have not shown up for either of the two agreed dates that you requested yourself. Before criticising and insulting La Liga, it's necessary that you inform yourself properly at Vinicius Jr. It's quite an aggressive message. It says, do not let yourself be manipulated and make sure you fully understand each other's competencies and the work we've been doing together.
So basically he's saying that you haven't turned up to the 2 times we wanted to talk to you about racism, so we're not going to do anything about the fact you've been racially abused.
This came after Vinicius said, I'm not your friend to talk about racism, I want actions and punishments, hashtags don't move me. But so it's been quite the heated debate, and I want to talk about why the referees got it so wrong, because what they should have done is because it's quite obvious. If a player's being racially abused, it's not like they're doing it, the fans are doing it quietly. If the player can hear it on the pitch, there's no way no one else noticed it. So why the referees didn't just pull everyone off the pitch, I cannot fathom.
Which game was it that did happen? That happened recently, and they did actually...
Well, they did England versus Hungary a few years back. That's the one I remember, of course, because we were watching it, and then players like Means and Sterling were obviously frustrated and communicated that to the referee, and then the players were pulled off the pitch.
And we saw a similar thing in Serie A with Lukaku a few months ago, was it?
The Serie A's got it's another league with a massive problem with racism as well.
I mean, at least after that happened, they came out and said that the referees got it wrong and that there's no place for it. La Liga, the fact they're defending it.
Well, Tebas is going on the aggressive, which is just like, what are you doing?
The problem is he's not. I don't think he's defending. He's not defending what happened. He's defending La Liga.
Yeah, he's defending he's trying to protect his referees.
But how you can do that in this situation, I do not know.
I think he's trying to be effective. He wants obviously Vinicius to just talk to him, but keep it private. He doesn't want this to constantly be an ongoing public matter because it looks bad for La Liga. But going about it in that way almost draws more problems for La Liga.
Because it looks worse if it's private, because it looks like he's trying to hide something.
Yeah, and cover it up.
But I mean, it's just embarrassing for the referee. And a referee, you might be obliged to do things by La Liga, but you also have a moral compass.
Yeah.
And your head, even if you were like, whatever.
But also, is that not the precedent? If something happens if there is a player receiving racist abuse, you take the player off the pitch. That is what's supposed to happen. But referee, big cock up there. They should have acted. They didn't, and I think then La Liga's response to it has been disgraceful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's all we want to say today. Obviously, I think it's important that it's spoken about because it is still a massive issue to this day, racism in football. I think we haven't seen it so much in the Premier League recently, though we did see a case of a Crystal Palace fan racially abusing Heung-min Son not too long ago. Quite obviously, the camera caught that, and I think obviously it's not being spoken about as much anymore. We did have some very important campaigns a few years ago, but it is still a prevalent issue in football, and I think therefore it does need to be addressed.
I remember, I think a Sheffield Wednesday fan I think he's been banned from Hillsborough for life. But even things like that, like you banned them from watching the team. Well, they'll just watch on the TV. Or yes, banning from.
Hang on, what do you propose they do in that situation? What, gouge their eyes out so they can't see football ever
arrest
again?
them.
Yeah, I mean, I do think hate speech should be a criminal. Well, it is a criminal offence, and somehow.
But football, it's not a thing, is it?
Well, I don't get it. I don't get why fans feel that in that environment they can say what they want. It's the same with homophobia and other forms of discrimination. In that environment, fans seem to think they can get away with whatever they want. And I just don't get it.
I mean, it's hard to understand because I don't know why you say it in the first place. I think at that point you should be a twat.
There we go, racism ended. Great job, Harry.
It's hard to get around for every, not sane person, but every,
morally correct?
Yeah.
I don't know.
For every person that actually knows, what the world is, what the world's about.
Okay. I agree with what I think you're trying to say. Your message is convoluted.
Because I don't want to say sane.
Oh god, that would be bad if you offended the racists.
Oh yeah, insane people.
Okay. But no, I think it's important we speak about it and address it. But yeah. Shall we go to the audience questions now? A little more jovial. But we've already read out one. We've only got one more for the submissions this week. So make sure, of course, to get involved if you see the post either on the YouTube or the Instagram story. If you see that, please leave us some comments.
What the question? Well, as long as it's a good question. Not a good question, but as long as it's related.
But this one also from Caden Holloman. He asks, why are successful teams in the last few years, such as West Ham and Leicester, fighting off relegation this season? Does it prove that owners don't care about their clubs? There's two sort of questions here. Yeah. Why are successful teams in the last few years, West Ham and Leicester as examples used in the question, fighting off relegation this season? What's happened
Leicester
there?
For me is, obviously they've kind of gone down the whole of it with the whole, in terms of owners and the money. And
yeah, I don't think that's the owner not caring. I think that's the owner, the new owners.
So it went downhill after their owner,
the sad passing of Vishai, yeah.
But because then obviously, again, that's a change of owner. That's a massive change, and we've seen that with Chelsea this year. Changing owner is not an easy thing, and I think
unless you're Newcastle,
yeah, because they've got some money. It's just, I think if it's an upgrading owner, it's easy, but
obviously, so Vishai should run a Praha upon his death. I think the club was given to his brother.
Yeah,
and they haven't managed that correctly. I don't think they've been a little.
He probably wasn't ready.
They've been inactive in the transfer market. Yeah. They've not improved the squad, and I think overall they've just sort of declined. They've lost some key players like Peter Schmeichel, not Peter Schmeichel, Kasper Schmeichel. They lost key figures in Wes Morgan and players like that, and they failed to really replace them.
Mahrez.
And they lost some very talented players in Mahrez and Fofana and people like that, and obviously Kante, but that was all Mahrez and Kante were during the Shrivana Praha, during Vishai's era, but yeah. So that's Leicester. As for West Ham, well, they're just having a really poor season. I think it was shown at the end of last season as they started to lose steam. And then into this year, well, they've had the same sort of...
They've struggled defensively. And I like David Moyes, but I don't think he's a European quality manager.
I think he's a good manager though, and I
He
think
is a good
if he
manager.
wins the Europa League, then you shut right up.
Yeah,
But
God, they've done that, haven't they? He's not very good European quality. He's in a European final.
Sorry, Conference League, isn't it? He got to the Europa League semi-finals and now the Conference League final.
Yeah, I take that back. He's quite good.
He was quite good in these competitions, but I do think Moyes has shown that, I don't know, at times this season the tactic hasn't worked, and he's been a little too reliant and dependent on just hoping something will happen that out of his control. He's not been active enough with changes. He's not been proactive with changing things before things go wrong, and ultimately that's cost him a lot this season. They have staved off relegation though, and next season I think with the right recruitment they can do well. I think they will probably sell Declan Rice as well.
That's the big problem for both teams, and Leicester even more so because they're going, as at the moment as it stands, they're going down to the Championship.
Yeah.
They're going to get absolutely ransacked.
Are they Leicester though? Because what they got, they're going to lose Maddison and Tielemans as far as free. Barnes might leave.
But surely, if you're a mid-tail Prem side, you say Iheanacho, yes, Daka, come to me.
Maybe,
Centre
but they've
half.
not proven enough in the Prem.
Got
Those
any
two.
centre halves, have they?
Like, yeah, exactly. Without facing going anywhere, maybe Timothy Castagna gets a move to another relegation side.
Want him yet.
Exactly, and he'll cook in the
I
Championship.
mean, why they bought him, I don't know.
He's a good young centre half.
But that's again at the same point as Arsenal. To link back to the start of the programme.
Welcome back to the ITV News at 10.
It's the weather. It's hot, very hot.
It's warm in the studio. Probably fine outside. But we don't know.
Yeah,
we're not outside.
I don't know.
Well, there we go. Thanks for asking a question, audience. Harry said, "I don't know." I don't think it shows the owners don't care. I think both the West Ham owners,
seasons.
Brady, Gold, Sullivan, I think they all care about the club.
Oh yeah, Karen Brady's brilliant.
She is brilliant. Yeah, I think she's.
And in terms of like running a business and running a
successful business lady.
Business lady.
Businesswoman. Well, I was going to say businessman, but she's not, is she? Businesswoman.
Business lady. Brilliant.
Business female. Yeah, so she's clearly very good at what she does, but it does that. I don't know, the recruitment's not on her though, is it?
No.
Like, she's not going out scouting. So
again, she's a good businesswoman and not a good scout.
But they also took the punts on the wrong players. They went and got Gianluca Scamacca, who has struggled to adapt. Well, he's a talented player and crushed the Serie A off.
Mikel Antonio,
who isn't very good.
Yeah. Equally, I'll let West Ham off.
You just changed your opinion so quickly.
But I'll let West Ham off because have you seen that young fan? Trial that way. Relegation that way. We're going that way. You're not his quality.
I haven't seen that. I've only seen Knowlesy beating out all of Alkmaar.
Oh, it's quality. It's this young fan. He's like a geese. He's an absolute geese. He's like 10.
Right. That sounds about right. Or was he just really short?
He's quite young.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Relegation that way. We're heading full steam that way. He's quality.
Fantastic.
Anyway,
that is all the audience questions. Make sure to participate in next week's audience questions, and you can get a chance to feature in the show. Up next, then on to the rumour mill, and I've got a very short rumour mill today. I'm sorry, everyone. I didn't have much time before this episode to cultivate some rumours out there. But if you do want to see loads of rumours, then follow our Instagram because I do have been putting out some.
Or look at
a lot more active on there.
Big rumour mill on that one.
Also big rumour mill. But this week we've got two Napoli players and where they're going to go. First of which is Kim Min-jae.
Oh, I like him.
Do you? Manchester United are the favourites to sign the Korean centre half. Do you think there's a risk there? Obviously, only 1 year experience of the Serie A.
Because I saw on Saturday Social a debate, because they were debating whether Kim Min-jae has been better than Virgil van Dijk this season.
Yeah.
And he has. And does he have the potential to be better than Van Dijk?
Yes, because Kim Min-jae's still really young, but I think
surely that's a no-brainer for him.
Well, I don't think he'll ever. He's got the potential, but whether he'll ever fulfil that, I don't know.
Would he want to go to United though? Because he's going to be back up.
Would he?
Is he going to get a bench? Varane?
Varane's 32, no?
Oh, but it's Rafael Varane. He's quality.
I don't think he's undroppable though. It's rotation. You're playing. They're going to be playing Champions League football next year. They're going to have the Premier League. They're going to have loads of competitions going on. There's no reason why they can't rotate. If you look at this season, Varane's been injured, and they've brought in Lindelof, and then Leacher got injured as well. Martin's got injured, and they've brought
who?
Leacher. That's his nickname. Lisandro Martinez. Yeah, that is. I don't know if that. I think that might mean. No, it doesn't. I think Leach is like...
just Lissandro, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not.
What is going on? I think the one for the studio is sending you delusional. I think I was both delusional today. But yeah, Kim Ye, very very good player. I think it'd be a good pickup for Manchester United. I do think there's a lot of risk associated with the move though, because he does only have 1 year of Serie A experience.
I think it's calculated.
Depends on the price. If you spend £80 million, you're an idiot. But if you can get him at 40, you're a genius. Probably though, this is Napoli. They're going to want 80, 90, so they're going to have to overpay.
I should scam Chelsea for Koulibaly.
And even then, they've been asking for 80, 90 mil for Koulibaly for the last 5 years. Well, they just want to hold on to their key players.
So imagine the money they could get for something like Kvaratskhelia or Victor.
That's why I don't. Osman's the next one on our page, on our sheet. But yeah, I don't think Kvaratskhelia will leave this summer because he has only got 1 year on his deal. Though potentially he will.
Maybe.
But yeah, Victor Osimhen then, Manchester United, Chelsea, Bayern, PSG, all interested. Where do you see him going? Obviously, they all need a striker. That's why they're interested.
Well, I mean, if he wants European football, Chelsea will be a downgrade. Massive.
Yeah, if he wants money.
United, he'd be a guaranteed starter. Bayern, he'd be a guaranteed starter. PSG, I wouldn't want to go there, but that's his personal preference.
But you would be guaranteed. Is it his personal preference?
Mbappe wants to play for the middle now.
No, he keeps saying he wants to play out wide.
Oh, you're around.
So it would be Mbappe, Osimhen.
He's already been to Ligue 1, though, hasn't he?
Well, yeah, but is that security for him?
For me,
it's not. I was confused by why you said it's his preferred option.
What?
That's what you said.
No. When did I say that?
Like about a minute ago.
No, I said that Mbappe is preferred option.
No, with Osimhen.
Oh, I don't know if he wants to go to PSG.
No, well, Osimhen is apparently interested in the Chelsea move most because obviously he idolises Didier Drogba, but he was also very open to the United.
For me, if I was him, I'd go United or Bayern. Champions League football.
Yeah.
Bayern have got a point to prove next season. He will score a lot of goals in the Bundesliga. Premier League. If he wants to prove himself to be one of the very best, he's got to come to Premier League. If he wants to win trophies, go PSG or Bayern.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you're Osimhen, do you hold up for Real to come knocking?
Why would they come knocking?
Because they need a striker.
They've got Benzema.
I want to speak about this because I think Osimhen was. I think Benzema flopped against City.
Against City, he ain't get the ball.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah, every striker has a rough day. Haaland doesn't score every week.
I still
he does. He scores 36 times out of 38.
He does sort of do that. Yeah. At 36, he's not got 38 games yet, so
he's got a goal a game.
He has, and he's not even played all 36. He's played 33.
That's insanity.
Something like that.
Anyway, I mean, if he wants to prove himself against Erling Haaland, Victor Osimhen comes to the Premier League.
Comes to Chelsea. I could see him going Real though.
Why?
Because they need a striker, as I've stated.
Real the only team that can change? I don't know, that's a different question.
What, for the Champions League?
Challenge City.
Nah, they're not. But they probably are, who knows. Yeah, 34 games, 36 goals.
He's just stupid.
32 starts. 7 assists as well, fair play.
5 yellow cards.
Yeah.
Cheater. It's probably all 5 yellow cards.
50 matches for City, 52 goals.
Just go away. It's just boring. He is boring.
He is a bit boring. Haaland, mate, have a day off. Have a rest.
City fans in Haaland, mate, you're just boring people.
Yeah, get Lewis, 82, and then send it to me for my collection. Anyway, that's where we'll call it today.
Yes,
we've waffled a lot. I think we've got to the hour mark, which is lovely, or close to it. But yeah, that is all from us today. If you have enjoyed, keep the conversation going in the comments down below. I want to hear from you guys on all of the topics, all the plethora of conversations we've had today. And if you have enjoyed what you've watched, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here. And if you're listening, then hit all the good buttons that do fun things on the audio platform of your choice. That's all for us today. Thank you all very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.